Welcome to SpeakUp Talks. In today's episode, we're talking about something big, AI in compliance. Together with SpeakUp CTO Arun, we had a fruitful chat about how AI can benefit whistleblowing mechanisms. We explored how AI can potentially enhance processes, efficiency, and support compliance teams. Enjoy listening. This podcast is an audio recording of our webinar. Find the full webinar on speakup.com.
Welcome at this webinar. My name is Maurice Canisius, and I am the CEO of SpeakUp. At SpeakUp, we provide whistleblowing tools for organizations to enhance transparency and to detect misconduct as early as possible. Today, in today's webinar, Arun is joining us, Arun Yadava, our CTO, and today we're going to discuss whistleblowing and AI. Hot and trending topic for many compliance teams across the globe, and today we want to take a deep dive in the possibilities and the opportunities, the risks and threats of using AI in whistleblowing. And in the end, we should assess how organizations can benefit from using AI into their compliance tooling. So, Arun, welcome. And let's start with the basics. What exactly is AI?
AI, you can qualify it as computers trying to mimic human behavior. So try to get to the level of human intelligence and perform tasks that normally humans perform. And if we look specifically at the latest advancements, you can see that ChatGPT from OpenAI has become very popular, and that we're looking more at large language models. That means now AI has been advanced enough to understand human language and also perform tasks. So you can ask it questions and it will try to answer that.
Okay. And everybody's talking about LLM, a large language model. What does the LLM mean for compliance and for compliance teams?
Well, you can see specifically in our industry, receiving reports, it has everything to do with communication. So it's dealing with human language. And what we couldn't do before, we did have machine translation, but then the machine didn't understand really what the reporter was trying to say. But now with large language models, it actually does understand what the reporter is trying to say. So it can extract quite advanced structured information from it. It can even devise answers. So it can really help both the reporter, but also the people handling it on the other side.
So the compliance officers, HR professionals, legal professionals operating the global whistleblowing system.
Yeah.
And maybe to zoom in a little bit on the benefits of this LLM, this AI, let's start with the most important one, and I think that's the report, because we believe that misconduct and the detection of it starts with a report, so feeling comfortable to make use of a whistleblowing mechanism. And how could AI help making this reporter feeling comfortable and actually using a tool that is supported by AI?
Well, one of the things we notice is that, of course, reporters, when they start leaving a report, they're not often feeling very comfortable. It can be something quite serious that happened to them. They've spent a lot of time feeling emotional and questioning whether they will leave a report. And that can also lead into them not leaving an optimal report. They might leave out certain details, just forget to mention certain things. So one thing AI can do for us is guide them through the process. So for example, if our AI bot would see that they missed some details, it can ask for more details. It can say, okay, you forgot to mention when it happened or where it happened, maybe elaborate a bit more on it. So it guides the reporter in a friendly way, and making a better report.
I think that's an interesting angle. So with a reporter, actually, it's about helping getting accurate information about this important case. And I think trust is one of the key elements in whistleblowing solutions, because if somebody doesn't trust the tool, they will not make use of it. That's my assumption. And do you believe that AI will scare away reporters, or do you think in the end they will embrace it?
I think it really depends on how you use it. So I think the key factor is always being transparent. So a reporter should know when they are talking to a human or when they are talking to a bot. But if they understand that they are talking to a bot or that they're being advised by a bot, I think it should not scare the reporter away, because they're really being helped. They're getting useful, pragmatic information. They could even ask the bot questions about, for example, the policy that the company has, code of conduct, and the bot can really guide them through, comfort them. This is the rule, this is the process. So I don't think it should be scaring them away, as long as we're transparent about it.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Me as being a compliance professional, hearing about bots and people, that always is a difficult combination. And in the end, I believe that people will and should embrace it, because do they have an opportunity to do it the other way around? Go to a person, and when you think about talking to a bot, that feels somewhat really taggy, and this kind of emotions. What could software do in order to overcome that feeling of talking to a robot?
Well, one of the things we also experimented with is the use of language. So you can also really instruct the bot. It almost sounds wrong to say bot. Of course, it is a bot, but it's kind of a sentient bot. So if you ask the bot to use very gentle language, to be comforting, then the bot will actually do that.
So it's actually a human voice then?
It's a human voice, yeah. So if we have text-to-text report, it will be written, but we are also experimenting with a voice bot, so it can also talk. There's a lot of opportunities here.
That sounds amazing. And when it comes to this, I started my question with talking about this trust, and I think we have two sides of the story here. One potential reporter employee that doesn't trust talking to a bot. Maybe one other group of reporters that thinks it's more accurate to talk to a bot. And hey, I have a very sensitive message to share that I can actually now share to maybe an AI model that is not a person. So I feel more comfortable. I feel more anonymous. Is that also a trend you foresee in the coming years?
I think that's definitely going to happen. And for example, we already see that with call center alternatives, there are reporters who are not that comfortable talking to a human because, the human might think something about what they're saying, judge them. That might not be true, might not really happen, but reporters can feel that way. So, when they can talk to a bot instead of a human, yes, for some reporters that can feel more safe because the bot will never judge them. It will just listen and relay the message.
Yeah, it's really independent. Of course, it all depends on how you train your software model. But I think that's an interesting opposition against this trust. So maybe so we discussed the benefits of using AI for employees, reporters, and we see there is a huge opportunity to actually enhance the quality of interviewing a potential reporter. But now let's move to the other side of the table. That's the compliance teams, the legal teams, the HR teams. How could they benefit from AI? And then maybe we talk more about the case management side of things.
Yeah, so what you see is that, of course, the reporter side is a very human process. It really needs the human touch, human communication. But on the other side, we have compliance process. And of course, someone dealing with these cases, they have to follow a lot of internal rules, check a lot of policies. So AI can help them as well into finding out, okay, what are the rules relevant? It can already retrieve structured information from the report, misconduct category, risk category, maybe the office where something happened. So it can really offload the administrative tasks for the misconduct officer.
So a CTO, a tech expert in AI, you foresee that actually what I call the basic fact-checking around a report can be structured. And we also foresee that quality will be enhanced because of AI. And when it comes to structuring those data, for example.
Well, it can definitely, a bot will overall make less mistakes than humans. Humans can also make mistakes, but it's mainly, it leaves more time for the human handling the case. So if a lot of work has already been done by the bot, it has been pre-filled, of course, the human should verify it. That's one of the key principles we apply in our solutions. We don't want to let the bot make decisions, but we want it to prepare, and then a human can verify it and make decisions based on it. But a bot will definitely do a very good job into structuring, finding the right policies. It will definitely do that.
I think that's an interesting angle. Maybe another example. We have, I think, various types of teams dealing with misconduct reporting, whistleblowing an organization, varying from this entrepreneur being responsible for whistleblowing on its own, maybe, to a slightly smaller compliance team, to larger enterprises running a global compliance team with many colleagues. And so I was visiting a client in Switzerland, and it was actually interesting because you see a little bit the KPIs from these compliance team also shifting from now embracing AI, and the board of these larger organizations telling the compliance team, hey, what can you actually do in terms of efficiency? And I think the efficiency gains for compliance teams can be huge. And so can you maybe give an example of an efficiency gain for a really small compliance team, so 1 or 2 persons being responsible for whistleblowing, and maybe a very large compliance team, starting with a small team, let's say a one-man show compliance officer? How can AI make their lives easier?
Well, I think if you look at small companies, even if you look at larger enterprise-sized companies, the compliance team is never the biggest. The biggest should probably be sales, trying to earn the money, and the compliance team is, of course, needs to be there, but it's never the biggest. So they usually have quite a high workload, and in the very small organizations, it's probably not somebody's full-time job. It's someone who got an extra task on the side that they have to do alongside their normal job. So when AI can do a lot of the administrative tasks, it means that one time they have to configure the system, upload their policies, but every time after that, our tool with AI can already help them structure it, and then they can focus on the communication part with the reporter. So everything is nicely structured, organized. It also means that they can run statistics on it, see how our business is doing.
Okay, so actually many advantages here on the table already. And I think it's interesting when you, as a compliance professional, listening to our webinar. I think if we say to our listeners, go back to your compliance team and mention these few practical implications AI can already have tomorrow in your whistleblowing mechanism. So what kind of practical let's say implications whistleblowing tool can have tomorrow for the team? So we mentioned already structuring data. Can you mention other examples that our listeners should assess, hey, is my tool actually using this AI feature already?
Yeah, so starting with the start is getting better quality reports, which means that you can quickly start actually dealing with the case rather than trying to get it complete.
Yeah.
So better quality reports, we can have it summarized. So if someone writes a really long story, we can summarize it to a very short, to the point summary, so you know quickly what's going on.
Just auto summarization.
Yes.
Okay.
Auto summarization. Then of course we have structuring data. So if you expect certain structured data, AI can fill that in. You can also think about better quality translations. So these LLMs get better and better. And for example, local dialects were previously quite difficult for machine translations to deal with. But now with these LLM, they understand local dialects.
I think that's amazing for global organizations, right? That I think one of the issues in the last years with the translations was that even if you have a whole apparatus of human translators available for you, that still sometimes the translation quality of dialects was difficult, even because of the availability of a translator. And you foresee now that the quality of AI can replace that issue. I think that's amazing to hear.
Yeah, it's definitely a big improvement. And another thing, for example, it can help you write better responses.
Yeah. And if we, for example, I think, regulation is an important topic as well when it comes to AI. One of the, I think, big challenges for global organizations is actually anonymization, for example, of data, and setting data retention periods, and actually assuring that the right data retention policy is being followed and in the right quality. That's quite a human intensive process. What do you think AI can do there?
Yeah, so definitely we've already built in AI anonymization. So for example, the GDPR, it requires that you remove personal data after there's no more legitimate reason for you to store it. And that's definitely a big administrative task.
Yeah.
So now, it used to be all human process, scanning through all the content, removing the personal data. Now AI can do that for you with the click of a button. So that definitely is a big time saver.
Yeah. Again, an efficiency gain for compliance teams, and especially when you are a small compliance team, these kind of tasks are quite intense to follow because they are very labor intensive, I would say. And maybe to round up to talk about regulations. Of course, there is a lot of talk in the town about how to even regulate this big AI topic. We see that from a EU perspective, there is legislation being prepared, expected to be launched in the coming year. What do you think, especially for when we talk about AI and whistleblowing? What will be the most important topic when it comes to regulation?
Well, you see, the overall big question is transparency. So when we see regulation being discussed in the European Parliament, it's all about decision-making processes and transparency. So if you base a decision on the output of AI, you have to be able to at least explain why AI made a certain decision. So in our tooling, we also have to be very careful to follow this new regulation, but also to make sure that everything AI does is transparent.
And being transparent for the potential employee reporting misconduct or for the organization?
Well, the main subject here is the reporter. So, but of course, it's not just the reporter, because the reporter can accuse someone else and they will also become a subject of an investigation. So everything, all parties involved need this transparency. But mainly we have to make sure that humans make the final decision. They have to be advised by AI, but it should never be an automatic decision.
Okay. Yeah. And do you think that this transparency will maybe in the future go to a level where, for example, software providers in the space of whistleblowing should expose their code to actually provide insight in how the LLM, the language model of the AI, is being adapted? Or do you think that's a bridge too far?
Yeah, potentially we could go that direction. That's of course very difficult with large language models, which have terabytes of information, and it becomes more challenging even technologically to provide that transparency.
Yeah.
But there are definitely ways to be more transparent about it.
Yeah. So that's cool. That's actually maybe we move to the world of integrity we operate in, where we say, okay, we give full transparency in how our LLM models are being programmed by our developers.
Yeah, and it's good to be a little bit careful because regulation always comes after technology. Everyone's running away with technology now, but it's good to keep a clear head and to be fair and transparent about the usage of it.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And maybe final question about the regulation side of things. There is a lot about how can you assess the integrity of a software code. It's a big topic. Do you think we will see, let's say, the integrity aspect of coding also being applied in industry standards, for example, in the coming years?
Well, there are definitely already coding standards. There's an ISO standard for it. Could very well be that AI and transparency becomes part of it. I think it's currently not, but it takes a little while for regulation to reach that far.
Yeah. Interesting to keep track of that. So, well, Arun, we discussed a lot about AI and whistleblowing, of course. And I think to summarize it all, there is a lot of efficiency gains for the reporter, but also for the case handlers. So you as compliance professional, HR professional, or legal professional. And I think our message is that embrace it, because in the end, it will make your life easier. And so, Arun, thank you for sharing the insights. Very helpful. And thank you, our dear listeners, for tuning in. What we will do is we will also share a survey. And of course, we are eager to improve and really, curious to hear what you think of this webinar. And stay tuned, because there will be more upcoming webinars where we will bring essential updates on technology and whistleblowing, but also on culture and whistleblowing, and how to apply the whistleblowing mechanism in the right way for your organization. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to SpeakUp Talks. For more expert insights, visit speakup.com and check out our resources section. Keep an eye out for our next podcast. Till then, enjoy the summer.